Sean Comets writes, can we start calling tan lines on ladies happy highlights?
Tan line happy highlights?
Yeah. Does that work for you?
Is it because once you get there, you've uncovered the happy highlights and you get to happy times?
I don't know. It's one of our favorites on the show, right? Can you use the term butterfingers for a woman with ugly hands, but the rest of her is good looking? I don't think people are insecure.
Great body, face, and personality.
Yeah,
Butterfingers.
Yeah. You got a great. Yeah, she's a 10. Butterfingers.
Butterfingers.
I don't know. Writes, daydreaming about napping, a lazy loop or a narcoleptic's inception.
I don't know if any of that was English.
He's such an interesting comic mind. Right. What is less manly looking? Drinking out of a straw, shooting a fly, or sitting and dangling a flip-flop off your toe? This guy always sends me funny things. This will be the last one. Sean Comets again. He writes, Nerds Candy, just a flask for kids?
I mean, it is. You take little sugar hits, right?
Yeah,
you just take little sips, little sugar sips.
If you opened a flask of Nerds and a dwarf walked over and said, "Can I have one?" Would you give him the first Nerd?
And I mean, no, certainly not. But that is such a good idea to have a flask of Nerds and then just go around town and be like, "Hey, you want a little sip? It's Nerds."
It's one of our favorites, right? Which is more strange, getting swimmer's ear playing hockey, or tearing your rotator cuff river dancing? They're both strange. Swimmer's ear playing hockey, that means you fell through the ice.
If you might have went through the ice there, yeah.
Tearing your rotator cuff river.
I think
you know what? The stranger one, the more embarrassing one is tearing your rotator cuff river dancing. I think any dancing injury is embarrassing. I threw out my bag doing the electric slide. You know, it's just.
Yeah.
What should the Neti Pot slogan be?
Now, a neti pot is a pot to put water in your nose.
Right. It's like a face enema. It's an internal facial. Or who's up for some nose tea?
I think the third one is for sure. Who's up for some nose tea? Neti pot. Who's up for some nose tea? I don't know why it would be said like that.
I like it's like a face enema.
It's like a face enema. It's very funny, but then that makes you just think. I have enough trouble not thinking of people's nostrils as tiny anuses.
How about douching isn't just for vaginas anymore?
I like vaginas because that's.
How about nose
vaginas
douche?
in Virginia.
Nose douching.
Nose douche is good. Neti pot. Go ahead and nose douche.
Yeah.
But again, I don't like thinking of the nostrils as tiny vaginas, as small anuses at the end of your nose, you know? Because then you're looking at somebody and their nostrils are flaring and you just imagine diarrhea coming out of the front of their face. I don't know, man. I think who's up for some nose teas?
Who's up for some nose tea is great. It's an internal facial. No, I don't. Comets writes, Chips Ahoy, dog biscuits for fat people?
Chips Ahoy, dog biscuits for fat people. I do like that one. I think, certainly not the chewy ones. Mm-hmm. Those are just for sad dads.
Fun show. If I could remember it, I'd like to be a part of it.
It is. Sean Comets, he sounds familiar. At Sean Comets writes, can you still call it skinny dipping if your waist is over 36 inches? Half. This one's by Sean Comets, at Sean Comets. We always like Sean's funny tweets.
Yeah, we love you, Sean.
More socially acceptable to say that you are high or to say that you have pink eye in both eyes?
I wish it was more socially acceptable to say I'm high. But
I think people would rather hear that you're high than you have pink eye, because being high isn't contagious. Except when I hang out with you sometimes. You'll give me food, I don't know what it was, and then I'll be wasted.
I really like the idea of, I'm going to start doing that just whenever you're high, just going, I have pink eye in both my eyes.
That's a great one. I like that.
Funny,
I like that a lot.
Get it, Sean.
Sean Comets also writes, this is another good one. Sean Comets also writes, at Sean Comets, He's very funny, by the way. We have so many funny listeners.
We do.
Jonas Polsky's always sending me funny stuff. My friend Steve Maison's always sending funny stuff. Sean Comets writes, is Earth one size fits all? Sean Comets, at Sean Comets writes, they should just make urine-colored toilet seats, right? I like that. Sean's always got some good ones. Sean Comets, at Sean Comets, he's always got some funny ones. The non-alcoholic version of the Sex on the Beach, should it be called Dry Hump on the Rocks?
Yeah, I love that.
Don't you
Sean
love that?
Comets writes, can it still be your hometown if it's a mobile home? Or is it just a mobile hometown? That's pretty funny. I haven't heard that. Have you heard that?
All right, the first Maskers, and probably the only one,
Microfilm.
at
Catch.
Sean
Microfilm.
Comets.
I know what you've done.
At Sean
know who you
Comets writes, tricycle, just a unicycle with training wheels? This is from Sean Comets, one of our favorites. Alphabet Soup, the new Ouija board, or choke on it, ghosts? Sean Comets, we always love him. He writes, egg drop soup. Is it the clumsiest of all soups? It's kind of like this one. What's more embarrassing, losing a remote in a smaller apartment or using a remote in a small apartment? This is one of our favorites on the other show, Sean Comets. He asks, is it okay to call priests and ministers afterlife coaches, even if it's not real? Yeah, I think it's all cats. Is it too late to start a life of crime? Or can you just call it a midlife of crime? A midlife of crime, I like that. We've done this one, but I like it so much. Sean Comets writes, how old do you tell a child that they were an ugly baby?
How old?
How old does a baby have to be before you say you were an ugly baby?
I think you start as soon as it comes.
Sean Comets writes, is it okay to call a fast wet dream a wet nap?
That is very funny. Or at SeanComets.com with a Z, I'm a minimalist to say the least. True or false? Or did I just overdo it?
Sean Comets writes, is a silly straw just an undiagnosed crazy straw?
That's a good one. Yeah. Probably. But you know, you'd rather be around a silly straw than a crazy straw.
Got some really good ones. Maskers, this is Sean Comets, who we always enjoy. Is it ever okay to call a woman's cleavage the Milky Way?
I don't think so. Not if you
Not
wanna,
a good come on.
Not if you want to
Not ideal. Not ideal.
Not if you want to end up actually ejaculating
Somewhere on her person or in her person.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best call.
I think this is Sean Comets wrote this. Should there be an aftershave called stubble?
No.
And I'd like to thank you for doing the show and some of the contributors. Jonas Polsky always sends in some funny stuff.
Sean Comets.
Sean Comets writes us, and Sean Comets, if all ties were twist ties, would you wear a suit more often? Masters that you ask. Sean Comets, who we love on the show, he wrote, no bake cookies at a bake sale. Lazy parenting? You must be adopted, or no art classes for you this year? Same, Sean Comets. Where is the division between an old grape and a fresh raisin? Sean Comets, one of our favorites, writes, Uggs, winter Crocs? Should we do one more Maskers, or we're kind of at the edge
Let's
of the
do one
clock
more,
here?
one more.
I always like this guy's stuff. Sean Comets writes, carrot cake, is it good that it's good for your eyes, or bad because you can see how fat your ass is getting eating it?
Chuck, I don't know.
I
If you even can do it.
I don't even know. Let's do one more.
I don't like the term sloppy. This is Sean Comets.
Yeah.
I don't like the term sloppy seconds, so can we start using the term lady leftovers? Is that sexist? Somehow it doesn't seem better, but yet at the same time it is much better. I think sloppy is the problem in seconds.
They're both not great. Sean Comets, one of our favorites. Worst fundraisers for bulimia, bake sale or eating contest?
Ooh, eating contest, yeah.
Yeah. bake sale or eating contest.
That's pretty raw.
Might get a little messy.
Not ideal.
That's what the MC would say. He'd be like, time now for the bulimia eating contest. Could get a little messy.
Coming right up.
I can get used to this. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Right after Donkey and the Jeff.
Is it, Sean Comets writes, is it less embarrassing to get healthy food stuck in your teeth than junk food?
Orange Julia.
I like orange Julia the best. Sean Comets writes, corduroys, ribbed for your pleasure? Like, why are we wearing...
Rib for her pleasure.
Why are we wearing...
Did you just go to look and see if he had corduroys
Yeah,
on?
I did.
He was about to lay into corduroys. He looks over at Ryan and he gives him
okay?
once over. He's like,
Is the
"Is he
coast
wearing-" all right. But yeah, corduroys, rib for whoever's pleasure is sitting on your lap. Rib for their pleasure. Corduroys, rib for their pleasure.
Yeah.
Who? The people that like the swishing sound when you walk? It's like, give it a rest, corduroys. Let the wind do its job, right?
Well, he also wrote wiener racing stripes or rumble strips for your chubby thighs.
Say it again.
I don't know why. I don't know. He wrote wiener racing stripes or rumble strips for your chubby thighs.
For your trubby thighs?
Chubby thighs. It's hard. It's hard to say.
Let me see it.
He wrote that. Look at this.
Wiener, okay, corduroys, rib for your pleasure. Wiener racing stripes or rumble strips for your chubby thighs. I think ribbed for your pleasure, for their pleasure. Wiener racing stripes. I've never looked at corduroys and been like, look at those stripes going down that guy's dick. And rumble strips for your chubby thighs just isn't a sentence that should be. I just don't think that should be a thing.
Well, he's a good one, but, I just think he went off the rails there a little bit.
Hey, you know what? I could get used to that. You think that's off the rails? We'll get used to it.
You know what? If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
You know what? If writing chubby thighs and dick whistlers...
22 past the hour, it's 38 before the next one.